Thank you, Professor Gaddy. It is truly an honor and a privilege and a pleasure for me to be here with you tonight, and it's a pleasure to be introduced by Professor Keith Gaddy. You all are, and I'm sure you understand this and appreciate it, privileged to have him here. He is an authority that's frequently quoted, radio, television, and newspaper about politics in Oklahoma, and I hope you have opportunities to visit with him one-on-one about government and politics, because he is a great resource for you. And what an honor also to be joined by Governor George Nye. Thank you, Governor, for all of your service, for creating this fine organization as well as others, and for your service to the people of the state of Oklahoma. And it is so unusual to be at a dinner with George Nye that he's not emceeing, which he does a marvelous job on as well. Let's see, Governor Gress, thank you for your hosting this tonight and organizing it. And I'm to be followed by Representative Ken Miller, Chair of House Appropriations. And I can tell you, as a Democrat talking about Republican Ken Miller, he has done a stellar job as Chair of Appropriations. It is extremely difficult, particularly in times of budget shortfalls and shortages, to do that job in a way that does service to all of the needs of state government, and he has fulfilled that role in an admirable fashion. And Representative Miller, I will advise you, if you haven't noticed from the program, we're all that stands between this group and dancing. So we will try to be brief if it's at all possible. And I'm also very happy to be joined tonight by my wife, Linda, who is in student government at the University of Oklahoma, as I was at Northeastern State College. There we go. The Riverhawks are represented. I'm glad you all are here tonight. We met in Washington, D.C., re-met some months later at the University of Oklahoma, and started dating. And Linda reminded me that one of the first dates that we had, not the first, but one of the first, was at a student government. It was not OIL, but it was a student government dance at Langston University. And we attended that, enjoyed the evening, and so many more evenings after that. We got married, and I actually announced my race for governor on our 42nd wedding anniversary last June 10th. So thank you for being here with me tonight. Those of you who are participating in Oklahoma Intercollegiate Legislature have come of age in the first decade of this millennium. You will be in charge of the future of this world, not just this state, not just this country, but this planet as it plays out during this next 100 years and on into the next millennium. So I wish you well. We are leaving you many problems, but I think that you can solve them all. I came of age in the decade of the 60s. When I was a senior in high school, my president was assassinated, November 22nd, 1963. Went to college at Northeastern, and when I was a senior at Northeastern State College, two of my heroes, Martin Luther King and Robert F. Kennedy, were also both assassinated. When I finished school, I enlisted in the United States Navy because we were in a war. And just a few years later, I found myself in that war in South Vietnam. This was the decade that I came of age in when I was the age that you are now. And one of the things that I was taught as I experienced those things that happened to me personally, to the country, and to the world during that tumultuous 10 years was that service has got to be far above self. That the demands of public service, the demands of government, the demands of society are of such immense import that we cannot afford to run for and assume office without an obligation to do something with that position of trust. The offices that I have held, briefly in the state legislature, then for 10 years as district attorney in Muskogee, and now in my 15th year as Attorney General, I have tried to take the lessons that I learned of public service when I was coming of age and put them into practice. Professor Gaddy mentioned the lawsuit that we filed against the tobacco industry, and I'm proud of that litigation and the revenue stream that it created for the state of Oklahoma. But I'm even more proud of what happened 2 years later when I teamed up with Robert Butkin and we drafted a constitutional amendment and asked the legislature to submit it to the voters of the state of Oklahoma. And in November of 2000,